Our TarHeel traveler is back from Haiti. 3 years ago this month, an earthquake left millions of Haitians homeless.
And as Scott Mason explains now, there is hope, this time symbolized by a concrete building rising from the rubble.
An orphanage, a school, and now a community center. North Carolinians, together with Haitians, are building one building at a time, one bucket at a time. It's an assembly line, an organized system. Water, rock, shovel, muscle.
Very hard work.
One hand to another, bucket by bucket. It's not easy turning mud into concrete.
Help them to better their life, of something they've never had before. Although they seem to know how to do things a lot better than we do.
Under a blazing sun, surrounded by mountains, Haitians and Americans build a community center.
It's going to be a trade school, a clinic, a church, a place for the community to gather.
It's part of the Ryan Epps Home for Children. 2 years ago, teams built one building and then another, and this now is the third building in line.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
And the assembly line moves, flows.
The Haitian workers are paid, they make money.
And now it's moving along at a much greater pace.
I think it's a good thing, and it's things coming along together.
Within these block walls is perhaps a window into Haiti. There's much to be done, tough, gritty work. But the foundation is in place.
I mean, it goes back to, passing it on to others, and that one person can absolutely make a difference, and we're really all just the same.
It's inside. The people are so genuine here. The Haitian people are just wonderful.
And there are Haitian people who are hopeful.
Oh, I am. And we all are.
They are because out of the rubble of the earthquake, with compassion pouring in, Haiti has hardened its resolve and grown stronger.
I feel like I should be screaming from the rooftops what a great country Haiti is and what awesome progress they're making and how inventive and hardworking and loving the Haitian people are.
Oh, great pictures. And tomorrow night, Scott and photographer Chad Flowers will join me to share their experience in Haiti. They'll join me for On the Record that airs at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Their stories include the account of a man who spent more than 2 days trapped under concrete after the quake in Haiti 3 years ago.
Writers write stories, and sometimes the writers themselves are a story.
Tonight, the TarHeel Traveler begins a week of writer profiles as Scott Mason features a husband and wife team from Raleigh with a tale of inspiration.
Writing is not necessarily easy. Finding the right words, communicating so that others might understand, putting pen to paper or pen to keyboard.
I have always loved to write. The way that the words come out on paper can communicate an image so vividly.
It is a powerful story.
How we thrive amidst challenges.
It is a vivid image, a pen scotch taped to his headgear. Barton is a writer. Megan is a writer. And together they methodically put one word in front of the other, communicating what is often hard to verbalize. When one is stuck, the other encourages, and they push on, rolling meaning into their work, like pouring ink in the wheels.
The two worlds, flesh and spirit, earth and sky, united in a clap of thunder. I knew right away that this was the man that I was going to marry. I didn't have any questions about how we were going to do things. I knew we would just figure it out along the way. And we have. Megan and Barton could not be happier.
It was incredible.
It was incredible. That day, Barton Cutter stood tall and proud.
That was the first time that I had walked.
He had never walked in public before and has not since.
It's like there's a disconnect between the brain and the muscles.
Barton was born with cerebral palsy.
So it's kind of like a disconnected phone line.
But there is a connection. The words connect. Barton and Megan connect.
I think we work really well together.
They make their living as writers. Barton once wrote a weekly column for the Raleigh paper.
And you call yourself a writer?
Yeah.
They have been married 8 years.
I was being really condescending and somewhat patronizing.
When she first met Barton.
And one of my friends called me out on it, and she said, you know what? He's a man. treat him like one. And ever since that moment, it was like the veil came off of my own assumptions and prejudices.
We're always learning from one another.
They do learn from one another.
Oh, come on, that's boy.
They understand each other and together have written a book.
It's one of the most enriching times to be able to share our story, because there's this moment where that barrier breaks for them, and I think it gives them something to think about.
They push on in pursuit of acceptance, every word on the page adding a little more ink in the wheels.
We've just had so many adventures together, just amazing. It's been amazing.
Wow, and I'm sure they're going to have many more adventures together. And for more information on the book, Ink in the Wheels, Stories to Make Love Roll, go to our website and search Traveler.
Our TarHeel Traveler commemorates Black History Month with one of North Carolina's greatest sports stories.
It's one few people even know about. Tonight, Scott Mason takes us to the cornfields of Hertford County.
This was once an old baseball field here in Hertford County, and the men who played here were known as the Cornfield Boys.
That's what the visiting teams would call the players down here, because they saw the cornfields.
And how good could a bunch of Cornfield Boys be?
These guys were good players. I mean, they were very, very good players.
There were 3 black baseball teams in Hertford County in the 1940s and 50s.
They were sandlot teams, but they were very good.
They played teams from the Negro Major League.
The Baltimore Elite Giants, the New York Eagles, the Philadelphia Stars.
The powerful major leaguers had players who would become legends.
Yeah, Satchel Paige played here.
Willie Mays.
Buck Leonard and Josh Gibson.
And the Sandlot teams, who did they have? Cornfield Boys?
They worked in the logwoods, they worked in sawmills and the fields during the day, and on weekends, they played baseball, and it was religion to them.
Frank Stevenson, young Frank, used to pedal his bike to the ball field.
And leaning up against the fence of the stadium and peep through the fence and watch them play.
And what'd you think?
Great stuff. I mean, and the crowds, both sides of the road was lined up as far as you could see.
Especially when the local boys from the little-known Como Eagles played the biggest game of their lives.
They rode to the ballpark on the back of a logwood truck.
The Negro Major League World Champions rode to the park in a bus.
When they stepped off the bus, they started joining at the Como players, calling them Cornfield Boys, log rollers, and things like that. But when the game was over with, they didn't say anything. They got in the bus and left because they had lost. They never expected to come down here and lose.
A local doctor, James Jordan, owned the Como Eagles.
Kind of like a root doctor or chicken bones doctor.
Major league teams blamed the doctor.
They said there's no way to beat the Como Eagles because you got Dr. Jordan who would fix it so you couldn't win.
He'd cast a spell.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And so visiting teams no longer visited. The ballparks disappeared into cornfields, and the Cornfield Boys drifted away.
No, you would never know it. Just driving by here, you would never know the story that happened here, the true story that happened here. Amazing story. One of the greatest sports stories in this state.
That is a fascinating story.
Ready for dessert. The baker has been busy.
Tonight, our TarHeel Traveler takes us to a culinary school at Wake Tech in Raleigh. Scott Mason profiles the flying chef.
A good meal includes several courses. A good story includes several layers.
Have you ladies enjoyed everything so far?
They're enjoying lunch. The dining room's full, and so's the kitchen. A whole lot of people in white, a goopy batch of brown, and a square patch of green.
I don't discriminate against any food.
She bakes. She chops. She serves.
So much. I'm a little bit of everything. I'm a baker, I'm a chef, and I'm also doing the management program.
She's a culinary student at Wake Tech in Raleigh.
But it's pretty intense. It's not just easy bake oven all day, you know?
She is one of the many chefs in white, but who is quite familiar with hawks in black.
You flew Black Hawk helicopters.
Yes, sir.
How was that?
That was pretty awesome. I used to joke, I'd say I'm gonna go strap on my helicopter and fight a war.
Melanie Taylor strapped on a helmet and flew into combat.
Did you routinely get shot at?
Pretty much every flight.
Flights into Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan.
Did you have any close calls?
I had 9 times that I was quite sure this is it. These are the final seconds of my life.
But Melanie's life did not go black.
I just don't ever want it to end.
Her life went white.
I'm using my GI Bill from the military.
She has strapped on her chef's hat and is slogging away through the dessert.
It's a lot more work than I ever thought it would be. It reminds me of basic training, but I love it.
Melanie loved serving her country. She was 17 when she signed up, and though retired now from duty, she still flies.
Now I fly for Duke University Hospital. Basically air ambulance. Now I get to make people happy, not just see them in their worst moments.
Melanie is now 33 and fulfilling yet another mission. The kitchen.
You know, all the years in the military, I lived in barracks. I had a microwave. I couldn't cook. So the second I got an opportunity, I went straight for the Holy Grail, culinary school.
Will you continue to fly and cook at the same time?
Probably so. I like them both very much.
Melanie was meant to serve.
Well, thank you for coming. Can I take your dishes?
The town of Brevard is famous for white squirrels.
And tonight we find our TarHeel traveler in Transylvania County. As Scott Mason explains, Brevard is also becoming famous for a woman who cares for the squirrels.
There is a woman here in Brevard who treats injured squirrels. But of course, if she's in Brevard, you know they're not just any old squirrels.
Bobby! Bobby!
There's Bobby.
Yes.
Actually, no.
Is that Betty?
Actually, it's not Betty or Bobby. It's Bella.
Bella, Betty, Buster.
And Benny and Blossom.
You must like the letter B.
I guess I do. For Beaker.
Susie Beaker is from Brevard.
Come on, sweetie.
And she has white squirrels eating out of the palm of her hand.
It's something else.
Her name does not begin with B, but Lily is beautiful and brave and beloved.
Oh, she's my heart with arms and legs. She's my girl.
Lily fell out of a tree when she was about 2 weeks old.
Motor skills were damaged. We call her Forrest Gump. She's kind of like a Forrest Gump.
This is what Susie does.
She's spoiled.
She spoils and treats injured white squirrels.
She's got her little Howard Cosell toupee.
There are legends about the white squirrels and how they got to be so abundant in Brevard.
One was the Barnum Bailey circus train was coming through town, and somehow he had 2 white squirrels, and they escaped, and they started their own little village. I love you too.
How many white squirrels are in this area?
It's up in the thousands.
The squirrels often roam around the Brevard College campus.
They've got honey buns in the trash can. Hey, what else do you want? Crazy Willie.
Crazy Willie is a gray squirrel with a crooked tail.
We think he might have been electrocuted.
I wonder what the gray squirrels think of the white squirrels.
Squirrels are colorblind, so I guess they all look alike.
But the squirrels in Brevard do not look alike.
Is that Betty?
Well, maybe they do look alike.
Is that you, Bobby?
Bobby and Betty and Bella and Buster.
I mean, everybody that comes here loves them.
And Lily.
She's my best girl. I love her very much.
She's the squirrel whisperer. White squirrels have been around Brevard for more than 60 years. Every spring, the town holds a white squirrel festival in their honor.